Welcome back to Real Florida TV. Today we have the Junior ROTC from Chipley High School with us, Sergeant Lonnie Seegers and Maisha Boston, a cadet with the Junior ROTC. We're going to be talking about ROTC. What is it? Maybe talk a little bit about the challenges and opportunities of a young adult in high school these days. We so often fault the system. We point a finger at the young adults that are causing trouble, but we don't take the opportunity to acknowledge those who are overachievers for all practical purposes, these young adults who are in JROTC, showing an exemplary form of conduct, discipline, good sportsmanship, and just pretty amazing stuff. I've learned a lot just in the short time that I've been talking with these folks, and hopefully you will too. You're watching Real Florida TV, and if you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, or maybe there's something you'd like to see featured, just give us a call, drop us an email, or visit our website at realfloridatv.com. We'll be right back with more from Real Florida TV.
Welcome to the people, events, and business of the Real Florida. Real Florida magazine highlights the pristine, unspoiled Florida, from special events to businesses to just getting away from it all. Real Florida magazine offers a taste of the real Florida, the way it's supposed to be. Available free of charge almost everywhere. So take a deep breath, relax, and get back to what's important. Check us out at realfloridamagazine.org. We'll be waiting for you.
Welcome back. Today we have First Sergeant Lonnie Seegers with the Junior ROTC at Chipley High School, along with Maisha Boston, a cadet with that same organization. I know you guys are in the school year now, so you have to carve out time, but thanks so much for taking the time to be on the show today.
No, thank you, Paul. And I really want to thank you for showcasing our ROTC program. Well,
as I mentioned in the intro, we're so quick to fault young adults and kids in general, getting into trouble, coming from sometimes families which breed issues, single-parent families in many cases. And sometimes young adults get a bad rap. Sometimes it's deserved, but sometimes it's a bad rap. But, and I'm to blame as much as anyone, we don't take the opportunity to acknowledge those who achieve. Now, that said, we do shows on the drama department and on the scholastic achievements. When we first started covering the Chipley High School football games, along with the other ones in the county, we started paying more attention to your activities, your color guard, your drill teams. So that's why when I had the opportunity to run into you at one of the football games, I said, let's talk in depth about what you guys do. Lonnie, if you would, tell me a little bit about what Junior ROTC is all about.
Well, I'd like to let you know that our mission is to motivate young people to be better citizens. And we have several avenues of approach for that. One of the things that we brief our parents, our new parents coming on board, is that we are foremost academics. We have a lot of extracurricular activity that kids can get involved in. The students can be involved in as much as they want. But we really stress academics. And we do that through a lot of peer teaching and peer coaching. We're fortunate, some other units may not think so, but we're fortunate that all of our high schools, our classrooms are mixed. We have ninth grade all the way through our senior year. So we've had people that's been in the program longer than others, and then they're going into the leadership role. As part of that leadership is counseling, and especially academics. One of the things that our school improvement program is working on is reading. So to help develop reading, we're establishing more of that in our program. But one of the problems our ninth graders have is always algebra. And when we go to our peer teaching, our people from the 10th grade on up who's had algebra can go in and then help those students. So our parents are really mindful of that. We ensure that we talk to our parents, especially about progress reports, because that's going to trigger whether or not we're making any progress.
We spoke a little bit before the show. Maisha, you shared with me a little bit about how you got involved. Tell that story again about what attracted you to JROTC and what led you to where you are today.
Well, my family is really Army oriented, and that really made me first look at it. But what made me join was when they did a presentation at my school during my 8th grade year, my middle school, and it was really amazing just to see what they did. And I had an older sister and an older cousin that were in it, and they would be practicing drill at my house, and they would let me help them practice it, and it was really fun. So whenever they did the presentation, I was really already thinking about it. And so whenever I did my schedule, I told them that I wanted to be on ROTC.
Now, many people, their only contact with your organization would be to see that color guard at a football game. But again, in the pre-show, we talked about the 3 competitions in which you compete, and the depth of your program. Lonnie, you talked about those 3. Tell us a little bit about those.
Roger. I had mentioned the parents concern academics, but what really keeps our kids involved is the extracurricular activities we have involved that we're doing. We're the only school in Area 11 that has made it to state competitions in the state rifle team, the state raider team, and the state drill meet. And we accomplished that for the very first time last year. Our kids are very, they want to be associated with something. And if we can provide a team for them, we will. A lot of schools only do certain teams. We try to do everything that the kids want to be involved in. And that helps across the board for students to keep them off the street. They'll be able to come to practice, and we'll have kids that's not even part of our team, that's not even in ROTC, come just to watch our practice. And we know that if they're watching us or if they're involved with our program, then they're not doing things they shouldn't be doing.
Well, as busy as our lives are, as much as is going on day to day that can distract us, you have to engage these kids, and you call them kids. To me, they're young adults. But at the end of the day, as long as you're not offended by because I've got kids and I got grandkids, and our 35-year-old son is still my kid. So. But engaging them, and I would imagine that you get a lot of people interested because they did happen to see you on the football field doing your drills or doing some of your competitive activities. Which of those that First Sergeant just mentioned are you involved in, Aisha? I'm
involved in all the teams except for rifle team. I'm involved in color guard, honor guard, flag detail. I am the commander of our raider team. I'm the female commander.
Now, I mentioned when you got here, we've got lots of photos of you in particular because of being part of that drill team. But to me, there's nothing that's more emotion-evoking and brings tears to your eyes than that color guard marching onto the field, presenting colors, the national anthem, the Pledge of Allegiance. It's at those times that we truly are one people. We can all sort of put aside our differences, no matter where you're from, no matter what your philosophy, no matter what side of the political aisle you might be from. That's at one time where we all join hands. And some people think it's a little corny to be patriotic, but I think there's been no more important time than for us to truly acknowledge the fact that we're Americans at the end of that day, and we've got the best place in the world to live. And when you go on that field and you present those colors, that embodies everything that has come before us, that has allowed us these freedoms. But more importantly, gives us those challenges and those opportunities to prove that we're better than we are. We talked briefly about sometimes this program being a really good fit for a young child that has discipline problems or has maybe strayed a little bit, and this gives him some of that more strict regimen to put him back on track. I think, Maisha, you even mentioned one example that you had of somebody that's in your team right now.
I have a friend that's in our program, and he's been in the program for 4 years, and he told me that before he joined that he had a few behavior problems, but then through the years of being in ROTC, that has helped him amazingly straighten himself out.
Lonnie, I know you get all kinds of success stories. You told me that you started at Chipley High School in, was it 2001?
Yes, sir.
I would imagine that you've got a lot of young adults of which you're proud. A lot have gone through the program. A lot have come back probably with success stories even after graduation. When we come back from the break, I'd really like to talk about some of those. And Maisha, I'd like for you to be completely candid and tell me some of the challenges as well as the opportunities that you found in junior ROTC. Will you stick around for the second half?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
You're watching Real Florida TV. Today our guest is First Sergeant Lonnie Seegers with the Chipley High School Junior ROTC, along with Maisha Boston, one of the cadets in that program. When we come back, we're going to do just that. We're going to talk about some of the opportunities for you, your children, or perhaps if you're a young adult, for you personally, to get involved, to find out more about this program. And if you'd like to perhaps help, aid in some way, perhaps financially even, you might find out that there's some opportunities. You're watching Real Florida TV, and we will be right back.
Welcome to the people, events, and business of The Real Florida. Real Florida magazine highlights the pristine, unspoiled Florida, from special events to businesses to just getting away from it all. Real Florida magazine offers a taste of the real Florida, the way it's supposed to be. Available free of charge almost everywhere. So take a deep breath, relax, and get back to what's important. Check us out at realfloridamagazine.org. We'll be waiting for you.
Welcome back. As mentioned, we're here with First Sergeant Lonnie Seegers from the Junior ROTC program at Chipley High School, along with Maisha Boston, one of the cadets in that program. Before the break, we mentioned when we come back that we're going to talk about a little bit more in depth, a little bit more about the challenges and opportunities of the program. We referred to the fact that you used the word kids. When we went to break, you mentioned it's because you are their surrogate dad. They call your wife mom in some cases. Talk about that closeness, that role model that you take on, and sometimes maybe even the void in their lives that you provide, Lonnie.
Well, I think it's really important that our children do have an adult that they can look up to. I know as an ROTC instructor, I want to establish a relationship with our students just like they're my kids. I ask them who they're dating, what time they stay out last night, what time did they get in. We actually have an ROTC Facebook, and we have our parents that are friendly on there and our students. So we can monitor a lot of our kids that are doing things on Facebook that I can question them about. Should you really have wrote that? If you were really upset, shouldn't you talk to that person specifically? But I hold myself accountable for our students. We even have other teachers that will call us up on our ROTC students to say, we have a little hard time on behavior. And they'll even take a moment. I say, well, send them to us. And we'll go ahead and sit down and find out what the problem was. And I've even had teachers call that the kids wasn't in ROTC. And when the students come, we'll still counsel them and address that. And we found that a lot of behavioral problems is because the students aren't taking ownership. So that's one of the things that we do. One, we take ownership of our program, and then we require our students to take ownership. So they are our kids. I refer to them as our kids, and I want them to be ownership of the ROTC program.
Well, and in turn, I'm sure they're proud of you and proud to call you whatever you call him, and maybe going in that direction. Have you ever been the recipient of some of that tough love, Maisha?
Well, in some cases.
We all need a little bit from time to time. My wife keeps up on me pretty good with that stuff. Lonnie, I sense that you've got a military background. Talk a little bit about how you got to where you are today.
Roger, I started out in the military. I was in infantry for 24 years. I had the opportunity to work with a lot of young adults and bringing soldiers up. I retired 96, 97 time frame, and I've been teaching for 12 years. But with that military background, what it allowed me to do is to be understanding and to think twice before I face a situation. And that's one of the things that we try to stress to our kids. You can't make a decision unless you have all the information. Whether it's a career decision you want to make or just a decision to go out on a date with someone, you need to have all the information before you make a decision. So the Army has allowed me to gain a lot of information on working with young people so that when I do go now into the school environment, I know that, one, children takes patience. You got to have patience with them. They're not going to react and be spontaneous with what you want. And so I know that it takes over a period of time. And working with our kids that's started from the 9th grade all the way into their senior year. We had mentioned earlier in the break that, about having kids come back to visit us. Well, just our homecoming, I met several of our students, and one of them had just graduated in 2005. He went into the Navy for 4 years. So the first thing out of my mouth was, I wanted you to come talk to our kids. So on Monday, he came by and he talked to our students and let them know not only about our ROTC program, how it affected him, but how it gave him strength to be able to go ahead and face responsibilities as being on your own and making it yourself. So I think it's really important that we do get our kids involved and take responsibility.
And well said. In your 11 or 12 years in the program, you mentioned that you have 40 or 50 at this point, but you can accommodate 100. How many young adults have gone through your program? Ballpark, just if you had to take a wild guess.
Oh, wow. I've been doing it at Chippewa High School. I've been teaching for 12 years, and if you average that 7, they're going to get us on math here. But close to 1,000 students, I think, has gone through our program. And we have a mural in our classroom in my office, and they'll send me pictures. And I'll have pictures of children, and I'm looking forward to maybe teaching their children, working with them. But we have a lot of children and grandchildren that from parents that the extended family want their people in the program. So when they put their student in our program, they're automatically part of our family. They go to our wall of fame, and it's where I look at it. And when they do graduate, we do encourage every one of them to come back. We have at the end of the year what's called an awards banquet. We have an alumni table so that our alumni can come back and enjoy the fellowship.
Well, give us a heads up when you do that this coming year, because we'd like to cover that and maybe let the world see a little bit about it.
Oh, that'd be great.
Now, the nuts and bolts of your position within the school system, do you actually teach courses as well, or is JROTC the course that you teach?
JROTC, it is an elective course in Chippewa High School as part of the curriculum. We have the Cadet Command from the Army has given us a really excited curriculum. We are able to work with the CPS systems. We have a lot of technology that the Army has provided for us. We have, I think, 12 computers in our classroom that allows us to go onto the internet, allows our students to do research for different things. So we run a standard course. We have curriculum days. We have uniform days. And, once a week, we require our students to be in uniform, different uniform for different things that might be going on. Today happens to be our uniform wear. Maisha, like she said, was the commander for the Raider team. Immediately after school, she's got a 2-hour practice. Today is early release, so she'll be practicing for 2 hours. But the rest of our curriculum is the same. We do talk with our other teachers, especially now that we're trying to increase our reading in Chippewa High School. So we're talking with other teachers and trying to get parallel with them, so that when we talk and work with different things that are going on, it'll really help. One of the things that we noticed in reading, talking to our reading coach, is that we need to work on technical skills. It's almost, like guys do when they get instructions how to build something. The first thing they do is throw away the instructions. Well, we found that our students have problems on technical information. And that's one of the things that we're going to strengthen, because everything we do have a manual. And we have a technical manual for everything, from marching to the physical training that we do. So we're going to get more involved in allowing our students to read and understand the technical situations.
And I'm glad that you mentioned the Army and the support that they provide for you. ROTC is an Army-supported, Army-instituted program,
yes.
The way I understand it. Now, how does that fall? Department of Defense, through the Army, actually funds part of your efforts? How does that work?
Okay. Now, we do have a branch. It's called Cadet Command. Cadet Command is responsible for the ROTC program at the college level. So, and they're running the junior ROTC programs in high schools. We're funded through Cadet Command, and it is done through, they provide everything. That's one of the first things that a student will ask when wanting to join the ROTC, and the parents is, how much does it cost? Well, it doesn't cost anything. We provide all the uniforms, all the decorations, all the awards that a student may have. The military pays for a lot of our transportations to our competitions. And what it doesn't cover, we cover through fundraisers that we do. The Army pays or actually reimburse the district for half of my salary when I'm working with the ROTC program.
It sounds like it's a no-brainer.
Yes, sir.
For any school not to embrace that program just doesn't seem like it would make sense. Wow, that's amazing. To do that much good, to engage that many kids, to increase the life experiences and the potential for that person to go on and do better things in life, and at that little impact to the local school system. Do most high schools universally have an ROTC program?
Well, actually, there's actually a waiting list for the programs to get on board. Our neighboring county, Jackson County, Mariana High School is on the waiting list to obtain an ROTC program. In our county, we're very fortunate. Both of our high schools has an ROTC program. Our neighboring school, Holmes County High School, they have an ROTC program. And that really helps our students because we can compete close to one another. And just 2 days ago, the ROTC program brought a few kids over, or students over from their program to watch our practice, to see how we were practicing, how we were doing things, so maybe it helped their scores and help them get a little better. But yes, we have, like I said, there's 11 Army JROTC programs in Area 11, and that's from Pensacola to Tallahassee.
You're watching Real Florida TV, and if you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, or maybe there's something you'd like to see featured, just give us a call, drop us an email, or visit our website at realfloridatv.com. We'll be right back with more from Real Florida TV.
Welcome to the people, events, and business of the Real Florida. Real Florida magazine highlights the pristine, unspoiled Florida, from special events to businesses to just getting away from it all. Real Florida magazine offers a taste of the real Florida, the way it's supposed to be. Available free of charge almost everywhere. So take a deep breath, relax, and get back to what's important. Check us out at realfloridamagazine.org. We'll be waiting for you.
Welcome back here on Real Florida TV with First Sergeant Lonnie Seegers along with Cadet Maisha Boston from Chipley High School Junior ROTC. Having some great conversation this morning. I'm certainly learning something. Hopefully you are too. Maisha, you mentioned that you're involved in other organizations in the school system, but that people recognize you. You related one story about an episode at the school board. We take a lot of pictures of your events around town, the football games, the parades, and you guys are very present, very high profile in all of those, and that just warms our heart to see that. But with the Color Guard particularly, I would recognize quite a few of your students probably if I came face-to-face with them in the dollar store even, because I've seen them up close and personal. What other organizations, what other activities are you involved with in the school system?
Other than ROTC, I'm involved in this program called SWAT, Students Working Against Tobacco. I'm involved with our science club, with our book club, with our FBLA, the Future Business Leaders of America, and I'm also involved with our National Honor Society. And with SWAT, the story that I was going to tell is that I was at a school board meeting one day, and I was presenting something to them, and afterwards, this lady that was on there, she came up to me and she's like, "Aren't you also in ROTC?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I am." She's like, "I saw you at the football game. Weren't you in the Color Guard?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I am." And she said, "Your leadership shows." Another story is that one day I was in my math class. It was like last year, the end of the year. My teacher, she was going around telling us how she knew us because she had us for 2 years, and it was really heartfelt. And she was telling us what she knows about us, or something simple like how she knows that. Can I just start over? Because I don't know where I was going. Okay.
Another example.
No, I'm going to keep that one.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's how you should start, is another example of...
Okay, another example would be my math teacher. She was going around telling us stories of the last 2 years that she'd been with us, heartfelt stuff, and when she got to me, she told me that she admired me for being so dedicated to RTC and for being so disciplined, and she said that she every day would see me in the hallways on Wednesday during our uniform wearing. She would see the amount of medals and awards that I had, and she could see the dedication that I put into it. That's it.
Yeah. You're a relatively small person physically, but has the program helped you physically, strength-wise and agility and handling yourself?
It has. As I mentioned before, I'm the female Raider team commander. And in order to become that, I had to go through a competition. And it was a really physical competition. And it helped me to get more physically active because before I got into the program, I was a very lazy person. I love to watch TV. But now I can't think of doing anything other than physical stuff, like doing push-ups whenever I'm bored and stuff like that. And the program, it has helped me become stronger, not only physically, but mentally as well, because in Raiders, we not only do physical stuff, we have mental tests too, like a first aid test and a map test. And that has helped me learn study ways too, that I can apply in my other classes as well.
Very interesting, and not something you hear a lot from teenagers. Certainly, in this age of computer games and Nintendo and Netflix. Lonnie, if somebody wants to get involved, and you mentioned that you've got quite a support system, let's back up. Let's talk first about that support system. You say you've got families of team members and other pieces of the organization, citizens, members of other organizations within the school system, all who help to support JROTC. Talk a little bit about that support system and how important that is.
Well, I definitely want to mention our teachers. Our teachers are really supportive of ROTC because, there's a lot of coming and going. We're having to go into competitions. We're having to do a lot of school leave. But I hope they understand, and I think they do, that if we do pull them out, we will definitely ensure that they do make up work. So our teachers have really supported us, and our administration has really supported us in all of our efforts that we've done, and especially in our fundraising. We've had so much support from our parents that we've even established a mom and dad squad. When we go to parades that you mentioned earlier, that we actually have a float, and it's our mom and dad squad float. A little joke that was coming out at the start of the year is we have several grandparents that want to have a G-Mom float. So we want to have a grandparents float. So, we've got an opportunity to give our mom and dad squad a T-shirt. So when they join our program and working with our, now our grandparents are wanting T-shirts. So we're going to have to go back now and see about getting some of those shirts. But we're really appreciative of the way the community supports us in our fundraiser efforts and the way they give us accolades. When we come back from a parade, we'll have several phone call messages of people leaving messages. Hey, I saw the ROTC program today. They did really great. I know it was hot, but they just stayed there perfectly with the colors. So the community has really supported us in our administration, and we really want to give them accolades. I really appreciate it.
You mentioned how your funding comes, but you also mentioned that you have to have fundraisers to fill in the gaps. If you want these special T-shirts or if you want to go to a special trip, it's understandable that you're going to need extra funding. If somebody wants to get involved, if somebody wants to become a donor or a sponsor, first of all, how can they find out more about your program?
Well, they can specifically call us. We're at Chippewa High School. Our phone number is 638-6100, extension 503. And that'll get you into ROTC, and we'd love to talk to you. We need all the support we can. The economy is on a downturn. I know that we're getting ready to do a barbecue sale, and by the time this is aired, we'll be already completed it. But we've gone to different stores and companies in our area, and they can't give like they used to, but they're still giving, and we really appreciate that. But if you wanted to get a hold of us, also I have a link to the Chippewa High School webpage. We have our own website that you can link over and visit us there. And I do not know it, but we do have a Facebook page if you want to get on that. My wife is in control of the Facebook, so to make sure that it is done correctly. But there's several ways, and we'd love for anyone. People say, well, I've only joined the military, or you only got cadets in the military that wants to join the military. Well, the correct answer, we only have about 10% of our cadets actually join the military. The rest goes on to technical schools, to college, onto the workforce. So we're not a program that just someone wants to go in the military. Granted, there are advantages to being on JROTC if you do want to go to the military. You're going at a higher rank, you'll make more money. But we do not recruit for the Army or any other services, and our doors are open to any recruiters that may want to come in and come out. But if our students elect not to join the military, that's no problem. What we want to do is to make sure they're good leaders no matter what field they select.
Do you find that there are recruiters from the other branches of the military who come in and observe your kids at times?
Roger that, and they participate. A lot of our events that we host, our recruiters are actually the judges of those events. So without them, we'd had to snag up a lot more parents to do work.
Wow. And Maisha, do you know what the website link or the Facebook page name is?
I don't know the exact name of it.
Okay. Well, we're going to find that out and have it on the screen when we edit this so that people will be able to go to your Facebook page. Lots of information there. I would imagine that hopefully this intrigues people and it tickles their fancy a little bit. And there are so many things, as you pointed out. We live in challenging economic times, and every business is being hammered. Everybody wants a donation. Everybody wants support for something, and all of those efforts are certainly laudable. They're all great efforts. But frankly, I'd put yours up against anybody's. It seems that you're accomplishing so many things scholastically, discipline. You're turning out people who, if nothing else, are accepting personal responsibility for their lives. And I would think if there were only one thing I would look for in life would be that, and that is to accept that personal responsibility. Lonnie, thanks so much for taking the time today. More importantly, thanks for dedicating your time and your efforts toward turning out these young adults of whom we can all be proud.
Well, and thank you, sir, for allowing us. We really enjoyed it.
You mentioned that you do have the support of the teaching staff, of your administration, the school board. Do you submit regular reports? Are there some ways that you can demonstrate to them the results of your efforts? How do you communicate with teaching staff and administration within the school and the school board? How does that happen?
Well, the way we have it in our school system itself is our principal wants us to send a letter of, did you know? Did you know our cadets were doing this? Did you know that we have just done that? Do you know that we're getting ready to do this? Our principal wants us to do that. He encouraged all the teachers to submit do you knows. And so we've been doing that a lot. We publish a lot of our news articles. Anything we do, we actually have a staff that's with every section, just like the military would have. And then RS5 is responsible for submitting those letters to the newspapers and getting our information out of what we are accomplishing.
So obviously they've got a pretty good temperature check of what you're doing. Do you get feedback from them, both negative and positive?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. And and that's the biggest thing, because we actually get feedback from our teachers, because our teachers will be passing us and they, hey, I heard about y'all doing this on the competition. Good job. Because a lot of our teachers are ex-military, and they'll pat you on the back and heartbeat, and you need that. You need that little encouragement, and we appreciate it.
Well, again, thank you for your efforts. Maisha, thanks for taking the time to be here today. You're extremely well-spoken. You're obviously intelligent, and the best of luck in all your future endeavors. We look forward to seeing you more, another whole year plus to go before you graduate. But the best of luck in whatever you choose to do in the future.
Thank you.
You're watching Real Florida TV. Today our guest, First Sergeant Lonnie Seegers from the Junior ROTC program at Chipley High School, along with Cadet Maisha Boston. Wow, good stuff. We're gonna close. We're gonna go out with a bunch of images from the last few parades and football games of Maisha and her color guard staff, her squad rather, and hopefully you're going to enjoy those. You're watching Real Florida TV, and if you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, or maybe there's something you'd like to see featured, just give us a call, drop us an email, or visit our website at realfloridatv.com. We'll be right back with more from Real Florida TV.